Hello, good afternoon, students. My name is Professor Ravindra Joshi from iSquare IT. So today I would like to introduce you to the topic of wireless sensor networks. So wireless sensor networks is a very upcoming technology area in the communication engineering, and there are a lot of opportunities as well as research going on in this area. So I'd like to make you aware about this technology and what are the different applications of these wireless sensor technologies. So let us begin with just some introduction to the wireless sensor network. And today's agenda for this meeting, just in the brief I mentioned here, that introduction to sensor networks and also comparison between the ad hoc networks and sensor networks. Because sensor networks are used for many residential as well as industrial applications, whereas a mobile ad hoc network is a similar technology like a sensor networks. It is used mostly for the mobile or you can say movable kind of nodes, especially in the military field as well as the video conferencing applications. So it is quite interesting and comparable with the sensor network technology. So we'll give some introduction to these technologies and then some comparison with the ad hoc network as well as the sensor networks. Also, we'll look at some of the current research which is going on in this area. Then what are the technical challenges which are faced by the scientists so that we can overcome these challenges and get the proper solutions. So just to introduce the topic, first of all, what is the wireless sensor network? So wireless sensor networks, as you might be aware, consist of very low cost sensor nodes. So the sensor nodes can be located at different areas in the field, and these sensor nodes can sense the parameters, various parameters such as humidity of the soil, temperature, pressure, all these kind of parameters it can sense. So sensor node consists of small receiver, transmitter as well as receiver called as a transceiver. It will also contain antenna to send and receive the signals, as well as the sensor nodes will have some small processor as well as memory to capture the data and process the data if required. So certain processing of the data also will be required. For example, calculating the average of the parameter, calculating the mean value, maximum value, and so on. So some kind of processing also will be required to be done in the sensor nodes. So as the system itself is a heterogeneous systems, means it will consist of different types of sensor nodes. Some of them are sensing parameters, some of them are generating some electrical signals, and also there could be actuators and the operating systems. So actuators means it will sense a parameter such as a pressure, and then pressure will be converted into an electronic signal such as amperes or the voltage signal. Also, as far as the sensor nodes is concerned, there is a restriction of the memory because the sensor node has to be very, very cost effective. It should be low cost and affordable because the nodes will be deployed in the large numbers. So the overall cost of the project can be limited. So there will be restriction of the cost on the sensor. So first of all, sensor has to be a very low cost. Also size of the sensor should be also very small, and it will have some limited battery. So battery will be placed inside the sensor, and then sensor will be dropped in the field, such as maybe applications of agricultural, then water level monitoring and so on. So applications we'll see in the next couple of slides. So there are constraints of the memory, and also the computational power of the sensor. Also cost wise, there are also trade-offs, means the cost has to be very, very low. So this is just the introduction that what are the different components of a sensor, and then what are the other sensing elements and what exactly they are doing. So let us see with that with the help of a very simple diagram. So this diagram shows the placement of various sensor nodes. So these are the sensor nodes. So they are forming some small clusters. Okay, so these clusters are formed with the nodes, and then certain nodes from this cluster will be selected as a cluster head nodes or a sink node. The other name of the cluster head is also sink. So what is done is, instead of placing all the sensor nodes randomly, and then there will be a lot of transmission between the different nodes which are located in the different areas. So it will be very difficult to control their transmission. Also, since the battery life is limited, we will have to control the transmission of power also from the sensor nodes. So we should have as less as possible, number of transmission should be as less. So what we do is we divide this entire nodes into various small clusters, and then these nodes will communicate only to the sink node or a cluster head node at the first level. So at the second level, this cluster head node may communicate with the another cluster head node which is situated in the another cluster. So cluster head nodes or sink nodes will communicate to each other, and then they will aggregate the information. Aggregate means they will collect the information from these nodes, and if required, they will do the necessary processing. And then this processed data will be sent to the another network. So as we have seen just now that the sensor node is a very basic, which is a required component in this sensor network, or WSN. Wireless sensor network is called as a WSN in short. So these nodes will be able to communicate with each other for some small data which they are going to capture, and then we can find the location information or the position information of these nodes with the help of algorithms such as a GPS or local positioning algorithms. Then comes the sink node or the base node, or another name for this is the cluster head node also. So this cluster head node is responsible for aggregating the data. Aggregating means combining the data which is obtaining from different nodes and then processing it in terms of calculating the average, calculating the mean, minimum temperature, maximum, all those required parameters. So in this slide, we are showing that okay, these are the data which are sent by the sensor nodes. So before they send the data, they will make association with the sink by sending some introduction or hello messages. These messages are called as hello message, just to discover the network around them. So in this diagram, some nodes are shown as a passive, some are shown as active. So what is mean by passive node means? Passive node is not transmitting the data, but it is only in the sleep mode. Okay, there are two modes. One is the sensor actively transmitting the data and the sleep mode. So we can control the duty cycle of these nodes. Duty cycle meaning that the amount of time on time divided by the off time. So these nodes will have very less duty cycle, so that they are sending data only for the small duration of time. So active means they are sending the data. Passive nodes means they are not sending, they are in the listen mode or sleep mode. So that state will be called as a passive state, active state and passive state. So as the sensor nodes are very large in numbers, it can range to maybe 10 nodes, 1000 nodes, or even more, depending on the application. So what are the different applications of this WSN or the sensor networks? So the sensor networks are used in various applications, which are, some of them are listed here. So we will look at the different kinds of applications, and then we can do the comparison as well as see how this can be implemented, what are the different challenges. So a couple of applications like a wireless environment monitoring and protection. So under this, it may be used for measuring or monitoring the seismic activities which are going on in the Earth's surface, collecting the data so that it can give the warning of future earthquakes, floods, all other weather conditions also, weather monitoring and forecasting. So this will be used in the satellites for monitoring the weather patterns. Similarly, agricultural applications may include the humidity, soil humidity measurement, as well as soil temperature measurement, calculation or measurement of toxic levels in soil or water. Also, understanding which soil structure is better than the other. So that can help in the farmers for selection of their crops. Other applications include the protection of buildings, in the sense that we have the building automation. So building automation can be done in the form of intruder detection. So if somebody breaks certain part of the building, then it can be detected. Fire, smoke, this can be detected. Also structural assessment of building structures of bridges. So that means is the bridge is undergoing excessive stress, or whether it is having a more amount of load than the design. So the bridge may collapse in future, or the building may not be safe. So whether the building or bridge is safe, it can be determined by monitoring the stress on the structural components. Also, as I mentioned earlier, military applications, sensor networks can be used. So that is mostly used for the tracking of the soldiers, tracking of the battlefield tanks, these kind of applications. And also applications like a tracking of the enemy, terrorist, finding out the terrorist locations, and then areas which are inaccessible can be located by the help of military applications, soldier applications. As far as industry, we also have inventory control and process automation. So amount of number of people can be reduced by automating the certain process in the industry. All nowadays the latest cars also coming with a different kind of air conditioning control, pollution measurement control, and so on. So even the car engine parameters such as the temperature, stress in the engine, that can be monitored so as to prevent any accident. Medical applications comes under the healthcare, patient healthcare. So patient's parameters such as blood pressure, heart rate, that can be monitored with the help of embedded sensors. And then it can be connected to the database, and the doctors can assess the database. So before examining the patient, they will have the understanding of the patient history by looking at its health data. Similarly, other applications like a space and as well as marine engineering. So marine engineering, study of marine life and water contamination. So nowadays a lot of water is getting polluted. Because of that, there is a danger of the marine life. So that can be also ascertained. And also marine life can be tracked by placing the sensors in the different fish and the marine elements. So this is a diagram which shows that entire processing in terms of just a block diagram for understanding that how this processing of the data is done. So this is done at the different layers. These functions of these layers are defined. So right from the different kinds of hardware platforms, we have different operating systems. Then also embedded hardware is incorporated in those processors. And then the entire processing of the events will be done by the help of a sensor and this operating systems in the sensor. So here we take a look at the what is hardware platforms which are used. So what are the different processors, and under the platforms we have Mica 2, iMote. So iMote is a Intel, as well as many companies have come out with their own sensor nodes. So they give the specifications as well as the what are the processors used in this sensor nodes. So as you can see, the node size is very, very less. It's almost as the size of the matchbox. So here we have done some comparison between the different kinds of processors. So Intel processor, Atmega processor, their speeds, memories, these are all compared. So all these are very, very small power consumption. So here you can see that the power consumed is only in the milliwatts or microwatts. Also, as far as the transmission of the signals, it will be used, the radio frequencies will be used. So certain frequency bands will be allocated to the transmitters to transmit the power. So it is showing that how the frequencies bands are allocated for the transmission of the powers. Okay, so these are nodes which are shown, which are getting powered from the battery. They are battery powered node. So when the batteries are incorporated in the sensor node itself, and then the size of this is very, very small, because this can be placed at very different locations, remote locations in the entire field. Okay, some of the operating systems listed here. The TinyOS is a most popular operating system, followed by the embedded Linux as well as the MicroOS. So basically these operating systems are very lightweight systems in terms of processing power as well as memory, so that they can operate with a less capacity of the processor. Okay, here also comparison between the different Intel as well as the Crossbow mica modes and the frequencies at which they are operating, data rates. Data rates are quite low here. From few kbps, it may go up to 1 Mbps. Okay, so MANET is another area of sensor network. So it is a long form of that is a mobile ad hoc network. So this is nothing but nodes in this case are having a slight mobility. So nodes can be stationary or nodes can be having a mobility also. Say for example, the nodes are placed on the military tanks or battlefield, or even the soldier can act as a node. So soldier as well as the battle tanks, they are movable in the field. So here the difference is that the nodes are movable. So nodes can move randomly and organize themselves so that the network topology should be adaptable, because the network topology may change and the network should be able to adapt to each other. So in some cases, the node may join different cluster. It may join a different cluster head, and then he will get associated with the new cluster. So he will lose the connectivity with the previous cluster. So the MANET mobile ad hoc network for military applications, as well as it can be extended to the vehicles also, vehicle ad hoc network. So that name is called as a VANET, vehicle ad hoc networks. So these vehicle, for monitoring the vehicle movement as well as the preventing the accidents, these can be used. Because the sensor nodes are placed in the different cars, then when the cars come very close to each other, they can detect the location and alert the driver, so that to prevent from the accidents. So the comparison shown here with the wireless sensor network as well as the mobile ad hoc networks. So it is different in terms of number of nodes. So here the number of nodes in the MANET is very small, maybe from 10 to 100 only, whereas the WSN, it can range up to 1000 or even more than that. Secondly, the nodes are having very less or limited processing power, whereas in the MANETs, they may have slightly more memory and more processing power. So it could be more expensive in the case of MANETs. Node may be more expensive, but here in the case of WSN, node has to be of the very, very low cost. And the nodes does not require any human interaction, because these nodes are placed in the very remote areas like a jungle or maybe very hilly terrain like that. So it is not accessible to the human beings. Whereas here it may be having a military application, so nodes are spread over the less distances. So coverage area is less here. Okay, so this is a brief comparison between the sensor networks and the mobile ad hoc networks or MANETs. So briefly we'll discuss what are the different current research going on in these areas. So mostly the research is concentrated in the optimization of the network lifetime. Means the network should last for a long duration. Because what is going to happen if the network battery, sensor battery gets exhausted, battery gets consumed, then there is no way we can go and replace the battery. So in that case, the node will become not functional. It will not be able to function. So by having the different protocols, what we'll have to do is we'll have to optimize or prolong the lifetime of the network. Network should be active for a long duration. And at the same time, minimize the battery consumption by putting the nodes in the sleep mode or inactive mode whenever they are not required to transmit data. Because they are not transmitting data every second or every instant. So the durations can be monitored, means duty cycles can be adjusted. And different algorithms for sending the data, accessing the wireless medium, and so on. So research in the areas of routing algorithms or how to acquire the data and send it. Also, some of the other challenges are scalability of the network. So if the number of nodes exceed in the future, then the network should be able to take care of the more number of nodes. It should not fail, or the algorithm should not have the limitations on the size of the network or the number of nodes. So what we require to do is we require the routing, but we require efficient and smart algorithms for routing the data. And also we require fast convergence. So the network should select the neighbors and it should be able to discover the neighbors topologies and so on very quickly. Also, there could be a mobility and the security issues of the nodes, because nodes may be movable. So they may leave the previous network, they may join another network. So network will have to be adjustable or adaptable to the movement of nodes. And also if there is any security breach or the node is captured by enemy or unauthorized person, then he may capture all the security or confidential information. So the security aspect also very important challenge. Okay, so just now I mentioned about the topology adaptation or topology control. Means that network nodes, if they are movable, then the topology will be changing every time. So the nodes will have to establish the connections with the neighbors and make the discovery of the new neighbors if the new nodes are joining these particular clusters. So it will be all dynamic. It's not a static topology, it will be dynamic topology. So it will be very difficult to maintain the neighbor relationship between the nodes. Also integration of the sensor networks to the internet. So for example, you want to observe the data, field data, then the sensor network will have to be connected through routers or to the internet, so that the data will be available on your mobile or handheld device. Okay, so this is the brief introduction. We introduced the sensor networks to you, and this is a very challenging field. Nowadays, this will be used in the IoT also, Internet of Things, for waste monitoring purpose. Many different kind of applications are there, because the nodes themselves will act as a capturing the data, and then it will be implemented in the form of a IoT, Internet of Things, even for the domestic applications. So to learn more of this, you can contact me. My name is Professor Joshi, and I am in the I2IT. This is my mail address, Ravindra J, I2IT.edu.in. Thank you very much.